Councilman Rodwald,
Here.
Councilman Grimm,
I'm here.
Councilwoman Nowakowski,
Here.
Councilwoman Eggleston,
Here.
Councilman Cobb, absent. Vice Mayor Cook,
Here.
6 members present.
All right, thank you very much. And tonight's invocation will be done by Vice Mayor Cook.
If you will, let's please bow our heads. Our Heavenly Father, please guide us tonight as we attempt to do the business for the citizens of this great city. Also protect our first responders, our sheriff's deputies, our EMTs, our firefighters, and all of our troops overseas. And to take a special note, you might want to provide a little bit of loving grace for the Cobb family at this point. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, sir. And moving on to the pledge. Thank you, Mr. Grimm. I pledge allegiance to the flag of
Flag
the United States of
United
America
America.
and to the republic
To the republic for which
for which it
it stands,
stand
one
one
nation,
nation under
under
God,
God, indivisible,
with liberty and
liberty and
justice
justice
for all.
for all.
Thank you, Mr. Grimm. All right, moving on. Let's see here. Action on the minutes, none. Communications, none. City manager's report, none. Comments from the members of the public. Mr. Bridge?
It is refreshing. It's still not showing up. There we go. We do have one new email from a Mr. Ian Meadows. Would you like me to go ahead and read it for the record?
Yes, please. We'll read it. We'll read it again also in the regular
It says,
meeting.
hello, I'm writing in hopes some of my suggestions could help benefit our town. The playground at Smith Park is outdated and rusty. I think kids and parents would feel better with new and safer equipment. I like so many hate to see the water tower go. I understand the lease with the church, but if possible, I'd like to see it saved and possibly moved. So many people see the tower coming from 235. It's a part of our town's history and should be added to the historical register. Thank you for your consideration. Sincerely, Ian B. Meadows.
Thank you, sir. Council, any comments on that? Or question or feedback? I'll just comment on a couple or one of them. And thank you for the feedback, sir. Smith Park, we just got some new equipment up there within the past couple of years or so, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Randy, that was probably close to $75,000 worth of equipment that we put in up there. I know some of it was grant money, but it was a push. Yeah. It was, we got it through grants. So we're definitely, trying to update our parks, and I think, Randy and the rest of the city administrators are doing a good job as far as, doing what they can with what they have to work with. So it's definitely on the radar. And, again, I think Smith Park has taken a nice turn for the better actually here recently. But we'll always keep those older pieces of equipment in the back of our heads, I'm assuming. And hopefully if some extra grant money pops up, or if our budget looks healthy next year, maybe it's something that we could look into. As far as the water tower, it's been a ongoing discussion. I don't want to see it go any more than the next person. I just don't see, unfortunately, I don't see the citizens of New Carlisle wanting to float the bill for that kind of money. I love seeing the water tower coming into town, and you're right, it is most definitely a part of our skyline. Even though it's a big old hunk of metal, I think it's a beautiful structure. But that's just my 2 cents on it. I have seen people comment on social media that there's those that do want it, but then there's also the other ones who I think are a little bit more on the realistic side that, I don't want my water bill to go up just to save a metal structure that's no longer going to be in use. So that's where I think that stands for some of us, or at least me anyway. And Council, have anything else they would like to add to his comments? Go ahead, Ms. Eggleston. Sorry, I didn't see you there in the right corner.
And as far as Smith Park, we are working on it. I think the new equipment that we've gotten over the past few years has been amazing. And I think, Mike, you know how my feelings on the water tower.
I'm with you.
I like looking out my window and seeing it.
Yeah.
It's New Carlisle. And I don't want to see it go either, but like you said, I don't see citizens seeing their, they don't like the water bills as it is, and they surely don't want them to go up anymore to save a water tower.
Right. Yep. I agree with you. So thank you. Anyone else? All right, sir. Thank you for the feedback. We appreciate it as always. So let's move on to committee reports. None tonight. Resolutions and ordinances, none. Other business, legislation discussion. Mr. Bridge, I will hand it to you, sir.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council, members of staff, and members of the public who happen to be watch. Tonight, we have two legislation pieces up for approval. They are both ordinances. The first one is Ordinance 2021-07. This legislation piece was introduced on 4/5 of 2021. And it is an ordinance amending section 246.09 of the codified ordinances of the city of New Carlisle regarding employee vacations. And what this particular legislation piece will do is put the your administration, your exempt employees in the same boat as the non-exempt employees. And that is, we are short-staffed with the administration. A lot of us can't go away for weeks at a time or a week at a time. It just puts a lot of stress on our workload when we get back. So we are requesting council to allow anything past 2 years of accumulation that the exempt employee would be permitted to cash that out only if it is denied by the city manager, that vacation request.
Okay.
Yep. Any discussion on that?
Council?
No.
Doesn't appear so.
Okay. And the second ordinance up for tonight is Ordinance 2021-08. That was also introduced on 4/5 of 21. And that was an ordinance amending chapter 246 of the New Carlisle Codified Ordinance to add an additional appendix for the city's organization chart. We don't have one that is codified, and the auditors have recommended that we go ahead and codify that and also put it into our employee handbook. So I did develop a visual representation of the structure, organizational structure in the city. It's beneficial for everyone. Of course, we do list the citizens up top because that's where they should be. But these are very common in organizations. And again, it's just a visual representation of the hierarchy. And again, that's in front of council tonight. So we can go ahead and get that codified and then actually put under our codes and then subsequently add those into the employee handbook.
Awesome. Council, any discussion on that matter? All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Bridge?
Nope, that's all I have for legislation.
All right. Council, any other anything else you would like to go over to in the work session before we adjourn and come back for the 7 o'clock? Ms. Eggleston.
I got a question if I'm even looking at the right packet in their ordinance 2021-09.
Yeah, but that's just introduced, but that's just introduced. We won't vote on that until the next meeting.
Okay, sorry about that.
Ms. Nowakowski.
I would like to invite any member of council one a night to come to the community Zoom groups that I've had. And if you would kind of sign up on that and let me know, so I know, don't have a quorum present and whatever.
Right.
And I'd also like to let people know who's coming up and they might get to know you and you them.
So you want them to just give you a call or shoot you a text message?
Yeah, just get a hold of me, however you can get a hold of me.
Okay.
And let me know you'd like to come and when you'd like to come, and we'll set it up.
Okay. Great. Thank you very much. Anyone else? Mr. Kitco, real quick, if you don't mind, I got one. It's really a group discussion, I guess, if you will. I know that you were probably made aware of it yesterday when April and I were down at the pool helping her move some things or whatnot. The trash dump that's down there. I know you probably talked to her about this, but I wanted your opinion and council's actually, because Mr. Roadwall was kind of, before he was on council, he was the one that kind of hit me with the idea. We brought it to council about the community recycling bin that's down there, which I think it's a great thing to have, but I think it's also attracting a lot of serious abuse. Has that become a big problem for you down there with that now being there?
Yeah, the third lock was cut off on Friday. My Greg Slattery, the superintendent, had sent me a pic. It's our third one we've replaced. They keep putting the bolt cutters to it and unlocking it and opening it up.
Right. So, I mean, is this something that you think we'd be better off just, I hate to say it, because I know that there are people that do use it for the actual intended purposes, but it only takes a handful to spoil it for everybody. I mean, do you think it would just be better to just get rid of the recycling one for the community? Or have you put any thought into what maybe other options, I guess?
My only thing without including Mr. Bridge on the conversation would be the location is just, it's easy for people to come in town, out of town and get into it, even though it's secure. But I have been thinking over the weekend, where would be a better place? How could it, I don't know, because we have the Great American Community Cleanup Dumpster right now in Smith Park with a regular dumpster next to it. And someone put a full-size couch in the Great American Community Dumpster. So we hurried up and smashed it down so nobody else would see it. And actually one of my public works workers caught someone right before I think he was putting in like those big plastic play school houses. He was getting ready to put it in there and he stopped them and then told him I was on my way out, and then he kept it and drove off.
Wow.
So.
Okay. Sorry, Randy, I hope you didn't take that the wrong way. I was overstepping you. I know that he deals with this a lot, but feel free to chime in, sir.
The only thing is whatever Mr. Kickos decides, I think he's the best one to make that determination. He sees it as his guys who goes deal with it 100%. We'll just have to make sure with the contract requirements, because I'll review that contract. I don't know. I think that's in there listed as a seasonal thing. I'll go back through. If push comes to shove, we may just have to amend the contract with Waste Management. If it stays, if it's a different address, we may have to amend that, because I think it says it's listed at the pool.
Yeah.
If we take it away, we'll just take it out of the contract.
Yeah. Yeah. It's unfortunate. It's that a handful of people are going to ruin it for the people that, especially at Christmas time, when people have a lot of boxes and Amazon packages, people fill that thing up, but you still get a few down there that are shoving, regular trash bags in it and whatnot. It's just a kind of a bummer. So that's all I had. Go ahead.
Maybe a discussion could be like, we take it out year round, and then maybe for Christmas time, we put 2 or 3 down there.
Yeah, good. I don't know how hard that would be on your guys' end. Logistically, would that be a big pain to do?
We'll just have to amend the contract with Waste Management. Once it's amended, though, that's all on them. They come and empty it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think that's when besides the illegal dumping, I think that's when people utilize it the most, around Christmas. Everyone's garage is filled with Amazon boxes.
Yeah.
So
TV boxes, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Dan, did you have any feedback on that? Since this was technically, I think, your idea originally years ago.
I don't like getting rid of it because I use it regularly.
Yeah.
My wife is addicted to Amazon, like many others are. And with Waste Management's contract stating nothing can be sat outside of the recycle bin, it makes it difficult for not only us but others to get rid of large boxes like that, especially on a 2-week cycle for your daily recyclables. Would there be a better location inside the city that would maybe would reduce the likelihood of a dumping? Maybe. To be honest, we haven't had any. I know we've only had the dumpster at the ballpark for a couple weeks, knock on wood, but we haven't seen any issues down there with anyone trying to dump anything to that dumpster. And I think it's just because it's more of a high traffic flow area,
Yeah.
better well lit. I think, come summer, you won't have as nowhere near as much illegal dumping as you do not right now, Mike, at the pool, because, you'll be down there. I mean, there'll be people there constantly.
Yeah.
So why I'm not in favor of getting rid of it. I would like to explore some other locations, maybe if Howie or Randy's got anything in mind, to place it somewhere else. Because I think it is a vital part of especially since so many people are doing online shopping now, for the convenience, to the pandemic. You get some of the smallest things in some of the biggest boxes, and it's difficult to get rid of those large boxes.
Yeah.
And especially if you're older and you only got the smaller recycle bins as well. And no one wants their garage just continue to get piled up and trying to wait for that one community cleanup a year.
Right.
So that's my 2 cents. I think it does a good service, and it's a shame that a few bad people want to ruin it for everybody else.
Yeah.
But I definitely would like to explore any and other options that we may have before we decide just to get rid of it and bring it back just for Christmas purposes.
All right. Thank you, sir. Mr. Vice Mayor.
Solid waste, Clark County has had quite a bit of problems with illegal dumping. They've set up several cameras around that in order to eliminate that problem. Would it be apropos to, I guess the word is, contact them to see where they got the cameras, look and see what kind of options we would have as far as that. That way we could catch some of the perpetrators, and possibly at that point, why that might eliminate some of the problem with that dumpster.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. So thank you for asking. Mr. Kitco, do you have any info on that? I didn't know if you've dealt with any of those cameras or trail cams that might be able to be utilized down that way.
I'm currently working with Mr. Bridge on some camera system for all our facilities. So something I might be able to take a look at outside of what they may have is if it fits next to our dumpster at the street department, which is, most people don't really mess around the actual city buildings as much as they do in a parking lot that sits a little bit away, even though it's by the pool.
Yeah.
It's easy access. We will have cameras on that building that could potentially be aimed that way. And it's not too far. I don't think that it should be able to see a license plate or see someone out there. At the pool will be, I'll have to look into that a little bit more, because I know there's trail cams. I know there's remote ones. Then you got to get something cellular, or you just got to be able to monitor that camera where you're going to put it, because it's so open. We'd have to put it on the tornado siren pole and hopefully catch from that direction.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I'll look.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right. Anyone else? Ms. Eggleston.
Yeah, I'm just concerned if we move it to a more public location to where they might be deterred, it's going to end up looking like the donation bins down at the IGA.
Possible. Yeah. Yeah. I know they have a lot of issues with that down there as well.
Right.
So, all right.
Is it a comment?
Go right ahead.
I mean, if we're talking about having a mayor's court, we could make it a finable thing to dump oversized junk in a bin like that. And it'd deter them real quick.
True. Yeah. I mean, that's another perfect example where this could definitely come into play to help us out. So I agree. Anyone else? Mr. Grimm.
Something that came up during the discussions about the community cleanup day. Are we going to have that this year? We didn't last year.
Mr. Bridge.
Oh, yeah. I'll let Howie answer that. I don't know where he's in. A lot of that was last year we had to cancel because of the lack of volunteers. Pride Workers really came out and really did a lot of the beef of that project. So I don't know if Mr. Kiko's had an opportunity to reach out to them to see if they're allocating people for that kind of work this year or not, to be honest.
The last time that I reached out to them, no, they were not. And that was about, it's probably going on a couple months since I last asked them. The discussion was up for this before, and they said no, they weren't doing it due to the COVID situation. And I believe I also called one of the places that we get possible roll-offs outside of Waste Management, and their schedule was super tight as well for that possible June timeframe.
I would like council like to proceed with that.
Mr. Grimm, you got any feedback on that?
I would like to see it. It's usually pretty well attended. I have a lot of stuff to get rid of.
Well,
But
if
it's
we don't have,
volunteer based, so I mean, yeah. So I would say like maybe, and sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Mayor, but like if the pride, we'll have Howie reach back out to the Pride workers, but I think it's a great event for the city. Maybe we just have our citizens sign up to help volunteer and see what we get.
because you wouldn't, I know some of the city employees help with that, do they not?
Yes.
Yeah, but depending on if they want to, spend the weekend or, it's not mandatory per se.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you want to, yeah, if we want to put it out maybe on what you said, Mr. Bridge, and see if some of the citizens want to volunteer, I'd volunteer to help out with it, So
Yeah.
how many people would you need up there to do it, Mr. Kitco?
We've gotten about 10 Pride workers at least, and I typically have had 3 or 4 city employees, or 2 to 3 doing labor, and then we usually have 2 to 3 doing the check-in for IDs, cash for tires and refrigeration, and mercury thermometers and that switch over.
Okay. Well, we would need to know our volunteer base. So first, before we order dumpsters, I would assume. So I don't know if Mr. Kiko is going to go ahead and recheck on that again to see if it's changed. And then what do you think, Randy? Would it be good to put it out on the city's Facebook page for volunteers, or how would you want to?
We'll wait to see if Howie gets an answer from Howie. If it's a no from them, then yeah, we definitely need to put it out to see what we get. And then we use Rollins for that, for the dumpsters, for the roll off.
No,
Who do we use?
Waste Management.
No, it was the company out of Springfield.
Smith. A couple years ago was Smith.
Okay. Yeah, first thing is getting their volunteers time down, and then the dumpsters, I'm sure we can pull off.
Okay.
I volunteer for one of those table jobs.
All right. So we'll just wait to hear back and what Mr. Kitco finds out, and we'll go from there. So anything else, Mr. Graham, on that?
Nope, that's it. But I would volunteer. Oh,
All right. Anyone else? Any other topics? All right. And with that, we're going to need a motion to excuse Mr. Cobb.
So moved.
First by Ms. Eggleston, and then we'll need a second.
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 Second by Mr. Graham.
All right, Councilwoman Noakowski,
Yes.
Councilwoman Eggleston,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cook,
Yes.
Mayor Lowry,
Yes.
Councilman Rodwald,
Yes.
Councilman Grimm.
Yes.
Motion to excuse Cobb is accepted 6-0.
All right.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
So,
Motion by Ms. Noakowski, second by Mr. Graham.
All right, Councilwoman Noakowski,
Yes.
Councilwoman Eggleston,
yes.
Vice Mayor Cook,
Yes.
Mayor Lowry,
Yes.
Councilman Rodwald,
Yes.
Councilman Grimm.
Yes.
Motion to adjourn accepted 6-0.
All right. We'll see everyone back at 7 o'clock for this council meeting.